Good afternoon, everyone. It's your boy Shad Talks Graps, and we are back with another episode of the Wrestling Republic Daily Broadcast. It is Saturday. We are on the brinks, a few hours away from Saturday Night Main Event. Let me give a little shameless plug before I start off the show. If you ain't got nothing to do tonight, or if you just want to hear people go crazy about Saturday Night Main Event, we will be live tonight, 8 o'clock during Saturday Night Main Event, reviewing it or reacting to it and whatnot. So definitely peak game to that. But we had a pretty eventful episode of last night, Friday Night SmackDown, and I'm excited to talk about it. And I'm excited to talk about with the cast that I have today. First and foremost, let's go out to the city that never sleeps, the Big Apple, New York City. Megan, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Excited to be here. Excited to talk about SmackDown last night because a lot of things did transpire. Also, happy Saturday night main event day. Also excited about that as well. So, just overall, just excited to be here.
No doubt, no doubt. And yeah, it was definitely a good SmackDown. As y'all can see, the topics, the graphics are a little messed up. We got a little technical difficulty, so we are going to talk about all of that. We're not talking about just Braun Strowman and Carmelo Hayes. It will be stuck there for a little bit, but y'all know how it is, man. Stuff happens. But last but not least, we got someone from another part of North America, Canada, my dog, the head of reviews, Coby Galenzoski. How you doing, man?
uh, Galenzoski, to be fair, but of course, don't want to have to do that. But it is Saturday night's main event day. Of course, we just had a loaded SmackDown that had a lot of juicy information, juicy tidbits, juicy things to talk about. And of course, I'm here and it's ready, and I'm excited to take part in this. And it's always a pleasure to be a part of the panel on the WR Daily. Of course, I mean, I've never actually seen a Saturday night's main event, and that's the fun of it because I became a wrestling fan after the last one, and I was 5 when the last happened aired in 2008. So of course I got the youth on me, but that's the fun of this, and I'm excited for what they do with this, and of course for the first time seeing Jesse Ventura on commentary live is going to be fun as well, and there's a lot to be excited about.
No doubt. And I apologize for botching your last name, bro. Sorry about that.
Nah,
I don't know how to pronunciate. But yeah, man, like we said, man, it's definitely going to be exciting tonight. But let's kick off the show, and we got to talk about everything that was set up for another big show that the WWE is having, and that is the first Raw that will be on Netflix, because we got ourselves a tribal combat match set. Solo and company wrecking havoc last night, of course, like they always do on Friday Night SmackDown. Him having a match with LA Knight, you know, going to no contest or whatnot. But the big thing that did happen was a incredible video package vignette with one Roman Reigns, noting that at the moment it is 1-1 and they got to settle the score. This is for the Ula Fala. This is a tribal chief versus tribal chief matchup, and we got a matchup set for Netflix. Monday Night Raw, Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa. Now, online, I will say there's a lot of excitement. Some people are a little apprehensive about it and whatnot, but for me, overall, I am excited about it. I'm one person that may have a different feeling than a lot of other people may have, even on our team. I think Solo Sikoa has done a phenomenal job with the role that he's been given. I think he's played the heel character so well. I think it's one that he's kind of progressively gotten used to a little bit more, kind of, earned and found a footing of it. And he's doing so good. He has a lot of confidence in his role now. He knows that he's kind of the, sly, like, a-hole more than anything, right? He's kind of a bit goofy in that sense, but that's what it is. And I always say it, as a younger sibling, there's relatability to it. And that's why part of me likes Solo Sikoa, because he feels like he's in the shadow of what his brothers did, or what his whole entire family did, and that includes the bloodline with Roman and all of them. But Roman's video vignette last night was so good, man. Talking about this was earned by him, it was given by his father, given by his uncle, and it just adds a whole different element and a whole level of excitement for what we will have. They're saying it's going to be one-on-one. I highly doubt it. I'm sure we're going to see some bloodline shenanigans sprinkled in. But overall, I'm excited for it, and I'm definitely excited to hear what y'all got to say. Megan, what are your thoughts, first and foremost, in regards to, the Roman package, not Romo, forget Tony Romo, but the Roman package and everything built up for this tribal combat match set up for Netflix?
Right. Well, 2 points that you said that I have to touch on. First thing first, I don't know what it's like to be the youngest sibling. I'm the oldest of 6 kids, the oldest of 15 grands. So I'm kind of in the seat where Roman is. You are put in a responsibility seat where you have to not only lead the pack, but you have to set an example. And so in this particular situation, I am on Roman's side because I know what it's like when you are given not even so much of an opportunity, but you are given the responsibility to lead um, the family. And you know, Solo, as well as he has done, Solo pretty much took it without having to really work for it. And I think that's the issue that Roman has with him. Um, Solo took a shortcut when it comes down to it. And he's running the family in a way that Roman doesn't feel that his father and his uncle would have wanted the family to be run. And with this tribal combat happening on the first night of Raw, I think we all know the ending result is Roman is going to ultimately defeat his little cousin once and for all and be done with it, or so he thinks. Because somebody who is even in a bigger position than he is going to come, and that I feel is going to ultimately begin the real uh feud between the two high chiefs, or the tribal chief and the high chief, so to speak. Um, but you know, I have to definitely agree with what you said. Solo has definitely he has built a name for himself, and he was able to carry the bloodline thus far with Jay being on Raw and Roman being gone, Jimmy being injured. Solo did what he had to do. He stepped up. And so I can only give him credit for that. But, when you give someone who's not necessarily ready to let's say drive a car, and you give them the keys to the car, they bound to crash out. And that's what Solo is doing. He's crashing now, and Roman has to take the keys back. He has to take the keys back to the car. Um so, you know, it's high time that this happens. Send Solo back, back into his place, and start this whole feud between The Rock and Roman. That's what we all waiting for.
Okay. I like it. I do agree with you. I do think Roman is probably the favorite to come out victorious. Although I won't lie to you, is Roman? He's a bit Teflon at this moment, right? Like he doesn't need to win feud. So would he put over Lil Cuz over? I don't know. It really depends what WWE sees in Solo Sikoa. There's also the other X factor on Solo's side, and that is Jacob Fatu. I feel like that
Well,
guy is someone that you gotta definitely, push to the moon when the time is right. And I'm not saying that because he is my doppelganger. I'm saying that because he's talented. Because I do see there's
right.
a I love Solo comment in the start of it. But
Yeah.
yeah. But speaking of comments, let's get a couple comments in before we pass it to Kobe. I make beats. Thank you for always tuning in, brother. Props to Solo. To be honest, I have enjoyed the pseudo tribal chief character.
Very good.
He played that role well. And remember, he got the tickets. He got the tickets. I love that. Yeah, he did have the tickets. So he's very unintentionally funny. He's got such a quirky wit to him that I do enjoy a lot.
Yes, you do.
The homie DC Warlord, obviously, rest in peace, Alpha and Sika, no doubt, man. I think they're proud of what their family is producing, has produced.
Yeah, absolutely. Which I guess that was the other thing that I was going to say that I forgot that also weighs in on the tribal combat match, seeing that's how Roman did bring up the fact that, when he first got you have to pronounce it for me, the alpha. There you
Ulafala.
go.
What does LA call it? Ufalafa?
When Roman first got it, Solo wasn't there. And since then they have lost both of them. They both passed away. So there's a lot of weight being weighed on this match, especially after the whole WrestleMania lead, build up with Cody and seeing the whole family tree up there and stuff. Like, that was very unexpected. So yeah. I mean, do Roman need the win? I feel like if ultimately Roman is going to one day leave soon, I think if that's going to lead up to Roman leaving, he's going to need this win, especially if they're going to do the whole WrestleMania thing. I think Roman going to win.
You're ultimately, I do agree with you. I'm just, trying to put a scenario for it as well, but it's going to be interesting. One more comment before, and then I'm definitely interested to see what Kobe guys say about it. Bobby noted Roman versus Fatu would be a nice match, no doubt. That is a dream match of mine. To be honest with you, that's something that can be very, very special. Kobe, you reviewed the show last night, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely your thoughts have been typed out, and I want you to kind of elaborate what you reviewed yesterday, and how you feeling about the whole segment and what we're leading into with Solo and Roman.
I mean, the biggest thing to me that stood out is when we were thinking about this and looking out towards this. I never saw this match taking place at the Royal Rumble or the Elimination Chamber. I did not know if this was the Mania Endgame because I just didn't see it taking place elsewhere. But the fact of the matter is now we got it set for the Netflix debut, which, I mean, proves me right in a way that it wasn't on either of those shows, but it also gets me excited because there has to be something bigger for Roman. And if it's The Rock or if it's not, there's going to be something interesting and something that's bigger that Roman gets to do at WrestleMania, but I don't know where Solo goes from here. And I think that's where it kind of hurts me because especially after a year of being given the ball and you sit there and he has, it's going to be tough to sit there and we don't know we don't really have something for you. Because I don't know what Solo does if he loses to Roman Reigns. And I think that's the part of me that is like, okay, well, if I'm thinking ahead, that's kind of my fears. But the thing that irked me the most is, why did we have to protect LA Knight? Because we saw Solo Sikoa versus LA Knight. No, solid match, an enjoyable match. Of course, you have the numbers game. You had a very good crowd cheering for LA Knight, booing Solo Sikoa. It was an enjoyable match. But then we get the DQ finish, which, I mean, yes, Friday the 13th, Jacob Fatu rising and appearing out of nowhere is a tremendous visual. And I'm not going to sit here and talk bad about that, but I'm going to sit here and say, we're setting up tribal chief versus tribal chief, Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa, and Solo Sikoa can't even get a win. Like that to me is like, what is this? Like that there's a, I mean, they stood tall. Like I don't know, aside from Solo Sikoa pinning Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel, which he got his one, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Oh yeah, this guy has a threat. If it's tribal combat and family aren't involved, there's no way Solo Sikoa should defeat Roman Reigns at this point, because I don't believe it. I don't believe he's a threat, because he couldn't even take LA Knight, which the biggest thing to me was I saw this as, okay, well, if LA Knight's kind of in a bloodline feud, what, he's going to lose the bloodline feud and go right back to Shinsuke Nakamura? I mean, I guess there is the option of protecting him, which they used, but it also does hurt Solo, who's going to probably have the biggest match of his career, and he doesn't look imposing. Jacob Fatu's the biggest threat in the new bloodline, and I mean, he's on the sidelines because he's not in tribal combat. There's a lot of kind of ins and outs that I just don't I kind of disagree with.
And you know what? That is an interesting point, and you hold a lot of validity on that for LA Knight, the protecting him aspect, because I don't necessarily what his next route is going to be. I didn't know if him and Shinsuke would run it back again. Maybe he gets the belt back from Shinsuke, or are they protecting him for the main event scene? A lot of it is telling to see what Cody's direction is going to be after the Kevin Owens match tonight. Will he go against Randy?
Does Cody go to Raw? That's the thing. Does Cody go to Raw?
Yeah, you got the whole
transfer. Yeah, there's a lot of ins and outs that it's like, well, Cody, I don't think LA lost in the shuffle, but I don't see an avenue where he goes into this kind of mini bloodline feud with Andrade and Apollo on his side, where they're not going to win, because you're going to make the bloodline look strong.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, well, now he's going to go right back to Nakamura. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I understand protecting him for that reason. But I don't know where he goes, and I don't know where Nakamura goes, because Nakamura doesn't have any faces on this brand right now.
Yeah, they are heavy. They're heavy set on heels, definitely, for sure, in the men's division. So it's going to be interesting. I'm definitely excited. We got a couple comments in here. We have a lot of comments in here, but I make Beats made a point. He says he squashed Cena and nothing happened, so he has no hope in Solo's booking. I mean,
that was the interesting part. He squashed Cena last year in Crown Jewel, and then he didn't win a single match until post WrestleMania.
Now, is that on Solo?
Like that's on booking. That's not on Solo. Solo doesn't. Or is that on
Cena? That's also on what Cena is at this point too. Like, well, that's a whole different topic that we could talk about.
Cena put him over. That's on booking to not protect him.
Theory beat him. Theory is in a worse situation than Solo is.
You beat me to it, because I was about to say the same thing.
It is on
Cena's fault.
Cena is not the same. Cena to people is not the same that he was years ago.
Right. But still, it's not Cena's fault if he puts you over.
No, it's not his fault, but it's just the reality. He's an old head who's a part-timer.
Well, yeah. Well, right.
So, but
it's not Cena's fault for Solo's.
No, it's not his fault. It's just the reality of what it is.
It's the pattern that you can have a match with John Cena and it does absolutely nothing for your career.
Pretty much.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there were like South Korean wrestling awards last year, and they were like, "Oh yeah, worst moment in wrestling was just Solo Sikoa beating John
Tell him, Clark, it's always Cena's fault."
Nah.
Let's not talk about Cena. He's gonna get his time for a whole however long he does his retirement tour. Let's stick with the bloodline, because we got to talk about the start of the show. And my dog, Big Jimmy Uso, cut in a great promo talking about how great it felt that the family was back together, how he's proud of everybody in the family, Roman, Jay, even his little brother Solo. It was great to see. And he was talking about what's next for him. Well, he's hurt. He messed up his toe. He said his big toe. But is he going to take a route to go to the Royal Rumble? Is he going to go for a USA title or IC title? Whatever the direction it may be, he gets attacked. And he gets attacked by arguably the best heel of the year, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre coming for blood, man. Drew McIntyre has had himself a crazy week where he, attacked Sammy. He's going for Sammy. He's going for everything tied to the OG bloodline in my mind. And at this time, it goes to Jimmy, man, just going for him. And I'm very invested. Obviously, we got Sammy and Drew tonight. We'll see what the result of that's going to be. But I'm so curious to see what Drew's end game is. Is it Roman Reigns? Because that's my only thought process it will be. But Megan, I want to ask you, everything tied to last night, what did you think about the whole segment with Jimmy and Drew? And what do you think Drew's direction is going to be?
It's starting to look like this new steel thing that people were talking about is happening now. The interesting part about Drew is, yes, it does seem like he is physically attacking every single person that was on Roman's team at War Games. So, yeah, the question would be, who is going to be the ultimate last person that he attacks? Is it going to be Roman or is it going to be CM Punk? Because we know Drew has held a torch for Roman. When Jay came to Raw, he was angry with Jay, and pretty much he was angry with anybody who defended Jay because of the whole history that Drew had with Roman. All this year, he has had a feud with CM Punk and pretty much just could not let those feelings for CM Punk go too. So those are the last two people that he um has not have been able to get his hands on yet. So uh yeah, why people might think that Roman might be ultimately Drew's last, you know, target, it might swing back around to CM Punk. Who knows? But um, you know, I enjoyed Jimmy's promo. I felt sorry for him because, you know, it's like he said, he sees it online. What about Big Jim? What's going on with Jim? We see Jay on Raw. He's pretty much taking over Raw. We got Solo and the new Bloodline on SmackDown. So what is new for Jimmy? Even Trinity. Even Trinity is about to replace Jade as the women's tag team. So yeah, I know people are wondering what's going to happen for Jimmy next. And he suffered an injury. He was gone. He came back in time for War Games, got re-injured, and now he's out temporarily again. So it seems like he just keeps getting hit with these speed bumps. But you know, my worry is, will the WWE universe be able to push Jimmy over the same way Jay has been pushed over? Because, you might want to give the writers Triple H credit for where Jay is right now, but overall, it's the fans. It's the fans eating up Yeet. It's the fans, chiming in when he does his promos. Like, it's really the fans. And I don't know if the fans are ready to give Jimmy the same amount of acknowledgement as they have for Jay, even Solo. Solo is the biggest heel on SmackDown right now, and even the fans, even they chime in when he's doing a promo. So I want Jimmy to have just as much of a successful singles career as his brothers. But sometimes it can't be everybody. And I'm wondering if Jimmy is going to be that one that it just doesn't work out for.
Man, that is a very that's a great way you broke it down. I'm scared for that same reason too. And Jimmy, like, I ain't gonna lie, Jimmy was kind of like before everything bloodline related, like when they was doing the tag team stuff prior to it. I always thought Jimmy was the dude who was a star between the two.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
he had the confidence within his personality. Obviously, everything outside of wrestling, everything with the reality TV show with him and Trinity, like he just seemed like a real cool, personable dude. Jay is as well, and obviously Jay is. We see the the biggest thing that happened to Jay was the unfortunate injury of Jimmy in the early story of the bloodline.
Yeah,
Because that allowed Jay to be a focal point of what was the bloodline story. Main event Jay Uso arrives from that standpoint, working with Roman, and we got to see how much of a star he is. But I hope it is the case. This is a splendid idea from the homie Lost in the Woods. Hopefully they find you. Uh, put the IC belt on Jay again. U.S. title on Big Jim. The title twins.
you
I would love
know,
that. I
I
would
was
love that.
I was definitely look. Now, as a parent, I understand you want the best for your children, and there's times. I mean, I'm on both ends of the stick. So sometimes I'm Rakishi, other times I'm Jimmy and Jay. Sometimes you just want your parents to just let it play out. Trust that I know what I'm doing. But I was on Rakishi's side when he spoke about them taking the title off of Jay too quickly. I
hmm
felt like it was way too abrupt.
Yeah.
I think he could have done is I think he still could have participated in War Games and then go back to Raw and finish being champion. I don't think it was it did it I don't think it was necessary to take the title off of him just for him to participate in, War Games. But
Yeah.
some people think that this might lead up to them ultimately giving Jay back the tag titles, but this time with Sammy.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't want Jay to
Sammy
continue to
Uso.
get wrapped up in these tag team developments. I want Jay
Developments.
to be the single star that we have seen all year.
I feel that.
You know,
Um.
so
Yeah.
uh,
I think that's a valid point. I guess we'll have to obviously wait and see, but I feel like you do get scared of a situation like that. But yeah, Bloodline, man, they got our emotions. They're pulling our heartstrings a lot.
they
But what
are.
you know, what doesn't pull my heartstrings, what gets my heart flowing, it makes me excited, is the wonderful wrestling that I get to see on Progress. And I got y'all a treat. It's Christmas. Y'all can call me Shoddy Claus if y'all want. I got a code. Watch Progress. You get 50% off your first month on Demand Progress Plus. This is the home of Progress. This is the home of Defy and much more. They have an extensive library of amazing matches that you can see from the past and what's even happening in the current present. They got great pay-per-views, man. This is a hell of a deal. I'm telling y'all, great people over there at Progress. Got some content dropping with them too. So keep rocking with them. And of course, keep rocking with us. Okay, now we are at the correct place of the graphic.
Woo!
We're here. We're here. Yay. Oh my goodness. So transfer portal season. We got our first transfer wrestler on SmackDown. And this was on the expense of I guess, annoying thorn in the side of a Nick Aldis. Carmelo Hayes, talking big stuff, cocky young man. Uh, and he says, I'm already beating whoever you got, this mystery opponent. It must be some crazy mystery opponent. This is what I said. Carmelo Hayes made me know who this was going to be. because I even said it in our group chat. He tweeted yesterday, "Oh, the silhouette looks like it's someone my size." I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be someone big." And man, it was a big SOB in the words of a Pat McAfee. It was Braun Strowman, new transfer on SmackDown, beat Carmelo Hayes in 90 seconds. I'm not going to lie to you. I understand it because Carmelo Hayes is a heel and he is annoying. And I understand that Braun Strowman is a big powerhouse. But man, I am a NXT reviewer and I love Carmelo Hayes because I think he's an incredible superstar and I think he's got big time potential. When he loses like this, I got to give myself a face palm because it doesn't make me exactly happy. But Kobe, you reviewed it. You couldn't even give it a star rating because it was too short to rate. So what is your feelings about it?
Like, that's the thing. And I think that's the tough part, is you broke it down in a similar fashion that I would think about it. And it's like, it was not an illogical choice, because I'm sitting here seeing Carmelo being like you said, a thorn in Nick Aldis's side, someone who definitely probably has too big of an ego for his own doing, but I think that's part of the character. And then you have, of course, Nick Aldis bringing in a new superstar, which, I mean, it's true. He's a new SmackDown superstar. Braun Strowman moving from Raw to SmackDown makes sense. Braun Strowman being a surprise opponent and getting the win quickly makes sense. Carmelo Hayes wasn't ready for someone as big as Braun Strowman. Like you said, he was chirping about the mystery graphic. You have him saying it's going to be light work. Well, guess what? Braun Strowman's not light. And I think it makes sense from a standpoint of the logic of it. And if I strip the characters of, okay, so we have big Braun Strowman and we have just Carmelo Hayes being an arrogant heel, it makes sense for the arrogant heel to get squashed. But what confuses me and what stands out to me is, a year ago, Carmelo Hayes was being booked better on SmackDown as an NXT superstar in the US title tournament. And like, that's the thing that I sit here and go, yeah, it's weird. Like, Carmelo's best stuff was with Andrade, and it's almost elevated Andrade and not him. It's tough. I'm confused. Game 7 didn't play out because of LA Knight, and then we never got a Game 8 because we never got a proper great Game 7. We're just supposed to move on from that. Like, it's tough. I'm sitting here and I just don't get it. I don't get a lot of it. Like, obviously it's tough because he's not getting the same treatment as Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is someone you can put a title on, and you can let him dominate, and you can do that. Carmelo Hayes is a different character and a different boat. Carmelo Hayes doesn't have to be dominant. Carmelo Hayes just has to get over as a heel. And I don't want to say he might be struggling, but he might be. And that's the thing that stands out to me, is he's not having as smooth of a transition as everyone wanted him to. And that's kind of the tough part, is we talked about 2.0 and how it was necessary for NXT to at least evolve. And it was. And it was necessary for NXT 2.0 to exist and for them to go, yeah, well, we're going to focus on people who can be main roster stars, like a Carmelo Hayes, like Braun Breaker, like, well, Solo Sikoa for a brief point. And his stuff in NXT was great as well. But I'm sitting here saying, well, Carmelo Hayes is not in a great position because he's getting over in his matches with Andrade, and he did. But he's kind of they're hanging on to this. Yeah, I was the first round draft pick. And that's what he keeps saying. That's what he said to Cody Rhodes that a few weeks ago. That's what he's saying now. It was like, I deserve this kind of treatment. It's like, well, you're struggling to get over. And I think that's what frustrates us as fans, I think.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think just the overall booking has been a little strange for Carmelo Hayes. I mean, and I think a lot of sentiment is, showing that in the comments as well. Like I love this comment right here by I Make Beats. I love Melo, but Paul's doing him wrong. I know Braun is a company favorite, but could have just had a match and still made him look like a powerhouse, kind of like they did Lashley's debut at Full Gear. Um, I mean, it is one
I,
of those cases. I mean, although Lashley did
I
wrestle to like enhancement
yeah, he
talent.
didn't officially debut in Full Gear, which is
Yeah,
a
but
dumb
I,
dumb
but
choice
I
in
get
itself.
but I get the
But that's
sentiment of
also
it.
Swerve Strickland.
Yeah,
Strickland was one of the last few world champions. It made sense for Swerve to get offense, but at this point, I mean, Carmelo got offense, but he just got put away quicker.
yeah,
Like
and then
the thing is we're not talking about this if Braun Strowman beats him in 5 minutes. That's
yeah,
the other thing that can be like, well, that's a positive because we're talking about Carmelo in a positive light, going, well, he deserves better. We're probably not doing this segment if it's a 5 minute match and Braun Strowman just wins a
yeah,
normal match.
exactly. And I make B
It's
says
tough. It's tough.
what? I'm sorry. We got Sean Ellis saying Carmelo Hayes needs a man up. This is an NXT all the time. He talks a big game. Man, you got a personal vendetta with him,
Well, I
buddy.
mean that's the character. I think that is the
Yeah, no,
character.
I get it.
He's got an ego bigger than him.
And then
We saw him kind of do it in that one segment months
And then I
ago
like
with
I like
Jade.
this idea from the homie Bobby Petito. Maybe he can find a new home and gets transferred to Raw. So we'll wait and see. We'll see what happens. We are running to the clock a little bit, but you know what? I am going to extend the clock a little bit for today because I think this last topic is very important because we got the brackets finally completed. We had two semifinal matches last night, and we got a match tonight at Saturday Night Main Event. First match last night. It's Tiffany time versus the badass that is Mia Yim. The what is it, the
Michin.
HBIC? That's what her mantra was, right? Going against Tiffany. Michin gets the win. Clean win too. A lot of the story of that is what happened after, how Naya and Candice are kind of, pushing her gears a little bit, and we're gonna see this eventual babyface cash in that we will get with Tiffany. But Mia Michin gets the win. On the other side, Chelsea Green, Bailey, Chelsea Green gets the win. This is going to be a very interesting match tonight because I think in the aspect of how we set up the finals, I'm understanding of it. It is a mid card title. This is to help position and give a star who may not be a big star, but the little addition to help them become the star. If you put the U.S. title on someone like Mi Chin, she becomes a bigger star at that point. If you put it on Chelsea Green, she becomes a bigger star. But on the same side of it, would it make sense to have a big time inaugural champion like it would have been with a Naomi if Jade would have been in the bracket, right? Her or Tiffany. So a lot of it is of an intrigue to me, but overall, I am excited for it. I'm definitely rooting for Mia Yim, Mi Chin, because I don't like Chelsea Green at all. I think she's a horrible wrestler. I don't think she needs to be on my TV at all. So to hell with Chelsea Green. Let's go Mia Yim. But jokes aside, I'm messing with y'all. I want to know y'all thoughts with the semis last night, and give me a little prediction who you think is going to win tonight. We're gonna start with you, Megan. Ladies first.
Well, I appreciate it. And, I mean, we know Shad got hate in his blood. So that comes natural for him to be a hater. But if there's anybody that's going to be cheering for Chelsea, it is going to be me. I am rooting for Chelsea to win the title tonight. Not to say I don't want Michin to win. Honestly, I feel like Michin had a really good year. I loved her feud with Jada Parker on NXT. I loved her feud with Chelsea, even the dumpster match, like Michin has had a really, really good year. However, I feel like Chelsea has been overlooked for different opportunities for the title, the Money in the Bank match, um, an opportunity at the women's champion, where they kind of, pushed her to be the bubbly best friend to Piper as Piper went up for the women's title. Um, I really just feel like this is Chelsea's time. Are they going to somehow tease Tiffany coming out? I don't know. I thought so. I really thought so. But after the moment between her and Naya and I call her the Tooth Fairy, Candace, um, I think whatever ideas Tiffany had with possibly looking at the mid card belts has definitely went out the window because now I feel like Naya is definitely making it clear to Tiffany that she does not see her as a threat and that it will be wise for her to go for one of the other mid card belts or rather Liv Morgan. And just the way Tiffany looked at her, I could tell that Tiffany is her mind is set on Naya's belt. So I'm going back to who I think is going to win tonight, and that is Chelsea Green.
I get it, and I do think Chelsea Green is going to win tonight too. I'm rooting for Michin, and you know what, man, I love that you gave props to her year because those two feuds and
Absolutely.
the type of matches like her and Jada's street fight, her and Chelsea's dumpster
Yes.
match, you know, amazing work, man.
Yes.
Michin Mia Yim is a special, special talent, and I'm glad that they're booking her such, right? She's someone who's doing the stuff. And yeah, man, when Tiffany cashes in on Nia, that is going to be you create a big time baby face. The roof is going to absolutely explode for that. So I
Hmm.
do think that is going to be the direction as well. Kobe, you rated both of these matches yesterday. All right, I didn't look at the ratings yet, so I don't know if you liked them or you didn't like them. But kind of elaborate on the semis and what are your feelings going into the finals tonight, and predictions who you think is going to win.
I mean, the thing is, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. And I mean, obviously, Michin struggled to get out of the way of the prettiest moonsault ever, and that kind of made the finish a little funky. And I mean, there's ways I can now analyze the matches, but I mean, to me, what makes this tough, tough is this is a rematch, and it makes sense for it to be Chelsea Green versus Mia Yim, Michin, whatever you want to call her. But I think this makes it too predictable. I I I would love for the to be swerved and for Michin to get the win, but I just don't see it happening. I can I cannot sit here and say confidently Mia Yim will win this match. And I think that's the tough part. I think that's where yes, it's a logical choice. Yes, it makes sense for it to be Mia Yim versus Chelsea Green, and it makes sense. I don't have an issue with that being the match, but I personally would have rather seen Chelsea Green versus Tiffany Stratton. I think that would have been the money match because then you could really, like we already mentioned, they're really playing into this fact of like, oh, maybe singles wrestling isn't your business. Oh, then you don't need that money in the bank. You don't. That's a cheap way to win the title. And I think Nia Jax and Candice LeRae are doing their job. They're doing well in that role to kind of to bully and continue to make you feel sympathetic for Tiffany Stratton for when the second she finally goes, oh, I'm going to cash in on Nia Jax, we're going to rejoice. I think we're doing well with that. But I think Chelsea Green beating Tiffany Stratton would have been better than just beating Mia Yim. Mia Yim won the dumpster match. I mean, what is this? Are we back to not convoluted, but we're back to somewhat 50-50 booking? Is Chelsea Green has to get her win back? No, I mean I'm being serious. I'm being unserious at that point. Chelsea Green is gonna win, and she is going to deserve that title, and she is gonna rock with it and roll with it, and she is going to do better with it, having a title, because she knows to maximize her minutes and she knows what to do and how to make a positive impact. Of Obviously, as a fan watching the televised product, the it's going to be fun seeing Michael Cole continue to do his thing with Chelsea Green, where he does not like her, and says, like, especially last week when Piper Niven got kissed of death onto Chelsea Green. He's like, "Oh, that might have been the greatest match I've ever seen," because Chelsea Green got squashed. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of fun to be had with Chelsea Green winning this title, but I think Chelsea Green versus Tiffany Stratton would have made this a little more unpredictable.
Nah, no doubt. And let's say Chelsea Green does win tonight. A lot has to be said about the rehires of Chelsea Green and Nia Jax. You know, two women that were released by the WWE, and in the same calendar year coming back and winning titles, you know, for the respected brands, and that one being an inaugural champion, one being a queen of the ring as well. So stuff like that is dope to see. I do like a lot what WWE is doing with the women's division. I do think the mid-card titles are a cool addition to it. I think it, you know, although I'm always one to say titles don't excuse for y'all to not to give more storylines, but it does give an opportunity for people to go against others and kind of create storylines and give a lot of women opportunities to do something, as well as a good crutch for people coming up. Like I always say, man, NXT, they got a lot of talented women in the pipeline that are going to get to the main roster. You know, coming out the gate, winning a US or IC title like a Roxanne, Stephanie, Julia, Jada Parker, whoever it may be, makes a lot of sense. So,
I was going to say, just to quickly add on to that, I do agree. I do say, like you said, there's a lot of talent in the pipeline. There's a lot of talent that are going to be coming up. And I think the addition of the mid-card titles will undoubtedly make their transitions easier. Because then you don't have to give Roxanne the world title to help build her up. You can give her a mid-card title. Exactly. And I think that's what I was fearful of, is like, if there was only one title, I don't see Roxanne being a main event, a top carder when she comes up, and now you're gonna have talent that can
go ahead, Megan.
Time with the mid.
No, I'm gonna let him finish. Yeah, no, I was just thinking about, you know, what you said and about how this match is very predictable. And the thing I've noticed that has been happening with the book, and especially now that we know that Triple H probably got a burner and he be watching, there might be the very slight chance that while we're all looking at Chelsea winning, he could ultimately give the title to Michin. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I didn't expect DIY to get the title back as quickly as they have, even though they've been kind of pushing for it. You know,
I think everyone expected a DIY breakup, not a heel turn together.
Exactly. So or even swerves. The whole New Day, you know, situation. Like, it seems as though Triple H is really trying to put a lot of swerves out there now. So he is all right with people believing or it even being predictable. And I mean, maybe it will even be a bigger character for Chelsea to lose, because then she will really crash out. We probably get the hot mess Chelsea from, you know, the other promotion and stuff. Like, she might really lose her mind if she does happen to lose, which I think Anthony will like to hear that, because he had brought up something from a previous daily where he talked about maybe she'll like crash out and bring the old diva belt and kind of walk around with that and think as though she is the diva champion. So I don't know, like, you know, Michin will lose. Yeah, she'll be hurt, but if Chelsea loses, it will be an even bigger moment. It will be a way bigger moment if Chelsea was to lose. So
yeah, Yeah, I mean, it is going to be a interesting match, a great show tonight. And like I said, man, if y'all ain't got nothing to do tonight, man, you want to hear some crazy kids talk about what's going on the screen, tune in tonight on the daily 8 o'clock sharp, all of that. And man, we appreciate y'all commenting, watching, always supporting the Wrestling Republic. We'll be back tomorrow daily, same exact time, reviewing Saturday night main event. So it should be a special show tomorrow. And yeah, man, thank you to my panel, Megan, Kobe. And in the words of Jay Uso, deuces, ooses. We out here.